everybody, how are you? This is Sharon with Statuesque by Sharon. And listen, I wanted to just talk a little bit about the topic of peace. It's very important that we guard our peace at all costs. And sometimes there is a high price to pay for peace, but you've got to make the decision on what is important to you. And most people who have experienced times of trouble, struggle, turmoil, they understand the importance of having peace of mind. When you have peace of mind, you can think clearly, you can take another step forward. Peace even helps you sleep well at night. And I want us to be vigilant to guard our peace and not be distracted by what the enemy and those that the enemy works through by being distracted by his tactics. The Bible says that the enemy walks to and fro looking for those he can devour. But thank the Lord, at the same time, though, with the same token, Jesus tells us that he leaves his peace for us, the very peace that he himself utilized, the peace of Christ which passes all understanding, the peace of the Lord that people will ask you, well, wait a minute, how are you able to even withstand that, the onslaught of that attack? Because you have such peace of mind, and it's not your peace, it's the peace that you receive and cling to that Jesus has given each of us. We all have access to it if we will just believe and receive it. He says that he has given us his peace, that he has bequeathed to us. And when you bequeath something to someone, that's something that you leave to someone upon your death. It's a gift that you give someone to use as their own. And he says that he gives to us not as the world gives, does he give to us. So he's not going to give it to us and then just snatch it away, just because he feels like it, or just because he has the power to take it away from us. He gives us his peace for us to embrace and hold on to and to utilize, the peace of the Lord that passes all understanding, peace where you can't even make sense of it yourself. Why do you have such peace of mind in such a turbulent situation or in such trying or stressful times? It's because you're holding on to the peace that God has given you. And I want us to be careful that we do not get distracted by other people's attempts of manipulation. There are people who will try to draw you back in to their toxicity. Be careful that you do not relinquish your peace to go back into situations where you have made the decision to step away from. I have known people who are just vicious and venomous. The way they speak about other people, they're just viperous, and it's just evil and it's wicked. And then they want people to still come around them. And I've seen people come into that environment and now they're stuck there in this environment that is filled with venom and just viciousness. And it can't do anything positive for that other person's spirit. They must know something is going on. I'm sure that they feel it. It eats away at them. But people are just vicious and mean-spirited, cruel, and that's wicked. It's evil. And they will not admit it or acknowledge it. And then they get mad at you because you don't want anything to do with it. And you know that they have done the same thing to you, been wicked and vicious and venomous towards you. Now, some people have the fortitude to step away from it because some people get to the point where they say, I don't want that for my life. I don't want to accept you being venomous towards me and treating me in such a viperous, evil manner when I've not done anything to deserve this. And so I'm going to step away because to continue to take this and accept it would be me disrespecting myself. And if I'm disrespecting myself, why would I go to the Lord and ask him to help me and comfort me and soothe me when he's telling me just walk away from that and don't keep going back to it? And, when you approach someone who has been vicious and venomous, the first thing they do is try to turn and attack you, with you trying to hold them accountable in any kind of way, or attack you for saying, I didn't like what you said, or I didn't like the way you treated me, and attack you as trying to be, oh, you're just trying to be a victim, when actually they're the one being a victim, because they try to turn everybody they can think of against you, for fear that someone might figure out their role in the situation. So, for example, they might hurl all kinds of accusations at you, that maybe you said something really crazy to them, you said something disrespectful to them, and they blow it up out of proportion. But then they will not tell you why why did that happen in the first place. So, for instance, a parent might say that their child spoke to them horribly and said something awful to them, and they talk about that child, I mean, viciously, and they try to turn everybody against them, even to the point of saying, well, I hope you believe me, I hope you're on my side. And you might be wondering, well, why would it be necessary for you to want me to be on your side? I'm not in agreement with a child speaking crazy to their parent. But let me ask you this: why did your child feel the need to say something like that? And the first thing they'll say is, well, I don't know. Well, for someone to act that to that end of the spectrum, that egregiously, there has to be a reason why they didn't just one day wake up and say, oh, I'm going to speak to my parent this crazy kind of way. And so if someone is constantly attacking someone who they should love, who they should care for, and they're saying all manner of them against them, and they're trying to turn everybody around them against that person, you best believe that they are doing the same thing to you. The moment you do something, say something, act in a way that they don't like, the moment that you conduct yourself in a way that they feel you are not cooperating with their manipulation, if you want to know what they're saying about you, just remember what they have said to you about someone else. So be vigilant in keeping your peace, because people like that do not change. They do it to other people, they do it to you, and they'll keep doing it because that's just their MO. And sometimes you've got to exercise the strength to step away. And sometimes stepping away might mean staying away for a season, or maybe staying away forever, because there is no reason for you to allow your spirit to just keep being eaten away at, because you're trying to keep the peace, or you're trying to walk on eggshells, or you're trying to make things work out. There are some things that you just can't fix. I have a previous video that talks about how some things you cannot fix. And sometimes we've got to realize that it's okay to put ourselves first in some areas in terms of self-preservation. There's no reason to keep subjecting yourself to someone's mistreatment and talking about you like a dog, and trying to turn everybody they can think of against you. And what you've got to realize is, first of all, you don't know everybody who they know, which means everybody they know doesn't know you. So all the people that they have turned against you, to what extent does that really matter to you? What relationship do you have with those people? To what extent do you feel you need to keep explaining yourself to anybody? Because the people who they know don't realize that they're being played as a pawn on that person's checkerboard. And I did say checkerboard intentionally, because pawns are used on a chessboard, but people like that don't rise up to the occasion of learning how to play chess. So they stay in their little comfort zone playing checkers with pawns. And the people who they manipulate against you don't even realize that they are being used as a pawn on that person's checkerboard. And chances are, as soon as that person starts looking at things more objectively and wondering, well, wait a minute, what are the information I'm getting is just one-sided. Let me look at this more. Let me look at this more objectively and from a different perspective, because there has to be more to it. And if they start asking too many questions, that same person that's turned them against you, that same person will start turning against them as well. And it just goes on and on. So in terms of guarding our peace, we need to come to the point of, to what extent does it really, really matter to us what other people are thinking? If somebody forms an opinion about you based on what somebody else has said, to what extent did that person stop to consider, well, wait a minute, why are they saying these things about you? To what extent did that person try to find out your side of the story or get to know you better? Even if it's someone who knows you well and they decide they're going to believe lies and all kinds of negativity about you, even though they know you and know that's not who you are, if they choose to believe something someone else is saying and filling their head with all kinds of negativity, you've got to come to the point where you just say, well, then that's their choice. If everybody I can think of turns against me based upon what somebody else has said, then I'm going to pray for them, because they don't realize the extent to which they are only being used as a pawn on somebody else's checkerboard. And so don't worry about the negativity. This is a tactic that the enemy uses to keep you from moving forward. He wants to keep drawing you into someone's toxicity. The enemy doesn't care what works as long as it does work. He doesn't care who it works through as long as they embrace him and do his evil bidding. That might be someone close to you. It might be someone far from you. It might be someone you know well. It might be someone you know just as a passing acquaintance. But let's be vigilant to guard our peace at all costs. And that might mean people putting all kinds of negative attention on you, because the truth of the matter is a manipulator will put all kinds of negative attention on you for fear that the people they're talking to might look at them negatively. So if they can put all this negative attention on you, then they feel safe to know that, well, people's negative attention is not on them because they diverted all negative attention on you. And sometimes you just have to withstand that. So it's like, do I guard my peace and walk in peace and keep moving forward? Or do I fall back into their toxicity, constantly trying to explain myself and holding them accountable, and they're not going to be held accountable and they just keep attacking me? Does peace mean you keep talking about me like a dog and I just keep moving forward? Or do I turn around and say something to you knowing that no, there's no fruit that's going to come from that? See, there are people up ahead of you in your future who need you, and they need you to get to where God is taking you so that you can minister to them fully. You don't need to keep turning around and falling into a trap that some vicious, viperous person keeps hurling and hoping that you will step into. So I have seen this often, and it's so true, and I incorporate this in my own walk, and I hope that you will embrace this as well. It says that sometimes guarding our peace and having peace of mind is the price we pay for the picture that someone else paints against us. And so that is very true. Sometimes to have peace of mind, to embrace peace of mind, first of all, peace is a gift from the Lord. And in the Bible, it talks about how we, the followers of Christ, we will have all kinds of blessings, but those blessings come with persecution. And persecution just means to be treated wrongly, unfairly, for, when people are mean to you and they're just evil towards you for no reason that you have earned or deserved. But in the course of that, let's guard our peace, because peace that passes all understanding is peace that all you can say is, God graced me with this. This is the peace that Jesus gave me. And that peace gives me the strength to endure and to withstand the enemy and all his manipulation and all the traps that he sets. Because I want peace, I'm going to guard my peace. And if me having peace means I've got to be the villain in your story, then the peace is worth it, because that I'm moving forward. So if I've got to be the villain in the story that you make up, your one-sided story, then so be it. Because all the people that you talk to about me, there might be a lot of them, it might be few of them, but I know that my truth is that beyond that, there's an entire world of people that God has for me to minister to walk with, who are going to minister to me. So beyond you and the small scale that you work on, there's an entire world of people that God has for me, an entire world of blessings that God has for me, so that I can continue my assignment. So don't let people stop your forward progress. Don't let people block your path. Some things you just have to walk through and make your own decision. Is your peace worth it? Mine is. And if I have to be the villain in somebody else's story because people don't want to try to figure out, well, wait a minute, what's the rest of the story? Then so be it. If I'm the villain based on one-sided story, then I'll be that villain, because I want peace and not to disrespect myself by continuously subjecting myself to someone else's toxicity. And so I hope that you do the same. All right. Y'all have a blessed day, and I will talk to you again soon. Again, this is Sharon with Statuist by Sharon. I love y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.